In the late summer of 1912, an 18-year-old English exile named Edwin St. John St. Andrew wanders into a forest in British Columbia. He pauses near a maple tree to catch his breath. Sunlight vanishes as abruptly as a candle snuffed out in a quiet room. Edwin is plunged into total, blinding darkness. In that pitch black, he hears a strange sequence of noises. First, the clear, echoing notes of a violin. Then, a massive mechanical whoosh, a sound that belongs to a modern airship terminal. This unexplainable collision of sounds suggests a crack in the chronology of the world, a narrative cold case waiting for an investigator to look closer. In the year 2401, a scientist named Zoe maps this exact same glitch occurring across disparate centuries. Because she sees these moments bleeding into one another, Zoe treats them as corrupted files. If time can glitch like a digital video, it points to a startling possibility. The universe might be a computer simulation. Her brother, Gaspery, is drifting through life. Looking to escape his own chronic boredom, he takes a job at the local Time Institute to investigate this exact anomaly. By treating a single forest glitch as a systemic error, Zoe and Gaspery must face the possibility that their own timeline is governed by the logic of a simulation. Becoming a time traveler requires immense preparation. Before leaving the present, investigators must memorize extensive dossiers of the dead, stepping into a room knowing exactly how and when each person there will die. The Time Institute operates under a strict directive. Travelers are sent back to observe anomalies and gather evidence, but they must never intentionally interfere with the timeline. Gaspery travels to 1912 Victoria to interview Edwin. Posing as an unassuming researcher, he probes the young man's sanity to see if he will confess to the impossible sounds he heard in the woods. Seeking a second witness to confirm the pattern, Gaspery jumps to a party in the year 2007. He searches the crowd for a young woman named Vincent, who supposedly experienced the exact same glitch. Gaspery treats his mission like a standard procedural investigation. Because he is so focused on finding witnesses to the anomaly, he fails to realize the growing influence he is having on the timeline itself. To finally catch the glitch in action, Gaspery sets up a stakeout in an airship terminal in the year 2195. Needing a cover to blend in, he brings his dog and begins to play the violin. As he plays, the world around him fractures. He sees specters from the past, including a young Vincent, superimposed directly onto the modern terminal. Gaspery discovers his own hand in the event. His violin playing in 2195 is the sound Edwin heard in that 1912 forest. The glitch appears as the mundane result of a time traveler tripping over his own footsteps across the centuries. What appeared to be a broken universe was actually a perfect, self-contained loop, created entirely by the investigator trying to solve it. This fictional mystery mirrors a very real debate happening today. Physicists and tech moguls routinely argue over the mathematical probability that our own reality is a digital construct. If our lives are just code running on an unfathomable server, do we still mourn our losses? Do we still weep for our history if none of it is physically real? We are forced to ask whether the mechanical fabric of the universe dictates the actual value of the human experience. Riding a trolley home in 2401, Gaspery wrestles with these same thoughts. He tells himself that his hunger is a simulation, but he still desperately wants a cheeseburger. He looks at a woman holding yellow roses and thinks the flowers must be fake. As the scent of the roses fills the trolley car, his perspective shifts. If he can smell the flowers, and if the hunger in his stomach aches, the underlying medium of reality ceases to matter. Gaspery accepts the paradox. Even if the world is a digital construct, a life lived in a simulation is still a life. The warmth of a dog sleeping at your feet, the sound of a violin echoing in an empty hall, the grief of losing someone you love. These things are real because they are real to us. They carry weight whether they are built from atoms or lines of code. The universe might be glitching, and the files might be corrupted, but the story you experience is still entirely your own.